Welcome to Chapter 11. In this chapter, we'll cover database marketing, direct response marketing, and personal selling. Essentially, we'll look at the major components of these different forms of marketing. We'll talk about the roles that database marketing plays, including the warehouse, the data coding, the analysis. We'll talk about database-driven marketing communication programs and how really being organized as a company can help you to reach your customers in a more effective and efficient manner. When you should use direct response marketing programs to supplement other methods, what are the tasks involved in developing a successful personal selling program, and how database marketing and personal selling programs can be adapted for an international setting. Uh, In this chapter, we talk about essentially database marketing and the role of a data warehouse. Now, data is an integral part of any company's toolkit in terms of being able to really target and segment their customer base. And this chapter presents information on how to build a data warehouse, database coding, analysis, mining, and really things that are associated with using smart strategic initiatives that is fed by information about your customer. When we talk about database marketing, it really involves collecting and utilizing customer data for the purpose of enhancing interactions with your customers. And part of that is identifying the customer. The other part is building that relationship with them. Database marketing involves really 5 tasks: building your data warehouse, coding and analyzing the data in that database, mining the data for useful information, using the data to develop really strategic marketing communications that is driven by solid analysis, and then using the data to develop the programs, if you will, that will carry out your initiatives. Now, a data warehouse has 2 primary types of information. There's the operational database that contains all of the customer transactions, and it follows the rules of accounting. It's used for tax purposes. The marketing database contains information about current customers, former customers, and prospects. When I was working for Learning Zone Express out in Owatonna, we were a direct marketing company, more or less, selling educational goods for teachers. And we used Navision as our CRM or our data warehouse. What we would do is mail out magazines in the fall and also in the spring to teachers who teach basically all kinds of health programs, more or less. Um, we call it FIAD, or on occasion home ec as well, as another category that we marketed in. And essentially what we do is we'd mail out these magazines, kind of like your J.C. Penney's magazine, except focused on teachers, and we would collect the data from the purchases that are made through the mail order. Um, and we also track that with online purchases, and we're able to segment the customers that actually make the purchase. Because part of the issue with uh, direct marketing essentially is the cost that's involved in your distribution. When you send out a direct marketing campaign, say a magazine that is maybe 100 pages or 50 pages, depending on the content you're talking about, full color, how rich the media is, as far as the quality of magazine you send out, we would spend anywhere between 20 to $40,000 per mailing. Now the returns would be right around the 70, 120 plus within the first 2 months, so you certainly get your payback. But really being able to narrow down the customers who purchase, sending them a magazine, and ensuring that there's a return is part of the responsibility of a marketing manager who focuses on direct marketing. When we talk about the data warehouse, it consists of customer names, addresses, email addresses, records of their first visit to the website, customer history, anything really you can collect about that customer that you can associate to a purchase that will be useful in segmenting your database. And to some extent, the methods employed in direct marketing is not that different from the methods employed in email marketing, where you're sending out information, you're measuring customer behavior, you're segmenting the customers that respond, and you're building really good list of consumers that act on your marketing message. Um, for emails, it's again essentially the quality of your database that will yield its benefits. Um, and you can scrape emails out on the internet, you can buy emails out there, or you can collect them. There's many forms. Um, there are really a number of distribution channels you can use, from Constant Contact to MailChimp to Magnet Mail to other forms of email marketing that are more commercial grade. Um, you can collect cookies from your customers, not the kind you eat, but really more the kind that is used to understand the behavior of that customer on your website. You can use login information, so when somebody logs in, you can track their behavior on your website, kind of like Amazon does. Effective database program maintains detailed history of your customers, the transactions they purchase. And really, this history can provide valuable information that can be used for future communication. It can also assist the market team in evaluating a person's lifetime value, other customer metrics that will be helpful, and helping companies really understand their customers on a more granular level, on a more beneficial um, level. For companies that lack the ability to gather personal information from their customers, a number of data research firms can supply that. Some of the more well-known companies, such as Knowledge Based Marketing, Dialogue, so on and so forth, these companies can provide demographic information and physiographic information. Other companies, such as Axiom, can combine online information that a company may have about their customers with offline information. Purchasing this type of information is necessary for organizations who can't obtain the data themselves. Geocoding is the process of adding geographic codes to customer records so that a customer can be plotted on a map. Geocoding allows for adding demographic and physiographic information to a customer's records. And with this information, customer clusters can be identified, and you can find out who provides you the most return. We used to do this using Google Analytics and the purchases that are made through the IPs. As a direct marketer, we sent out the catalogs. People made a purchase online or they ordered it. In either case, our software tracked where they were, and we could identify which parts of the country generated the greatest returns and target those. Perhaps we want to do more trade shows in California because it's providing more revenue, or Texas, or Massachusetts. It's a data point we can utilize to interpret the information, if you will. Geocoding can also be used to identify the best location for retail outlets. For a marketing organization that wants to maybe look at expanding their retail presence. In this example, 50% of the store's customers live within a 2.32-mile radius of the store. Of the 1,400 plus that live within that 2.32 miles of store, only 955, or really 6.7, are customers of that store. Depending on the type of store, this appears to be a low penetration area. For households within a mile of the store, the penetration rate is about 24.7. This level of information provides decision makers the data that they need to be able to act and move forward. Regarding database coding and analysis, it provides a critical uh, tool, or rather really process, for which personalized information can be identified. It also assists in creating marketing campaigns. Common forms of this coding associate the customer's behavior with their location, and you can come up with customer clusters, if you will. Um, the lifetime value figure represents the present value of future profits a customer will generate over his or her lifetime, and really their relationship with the company. Now, some companies will calculate individual lifetime values for each person. Others will look at a cluster, but it gives them a metric to kind of gauge how much to further invest in their marketing efforts by segment. Coding can be used to group customers into clusters, as we've talked about, with a wide variety of criteria. We focus mostly on geographic in our last discussion, but they can be a number of different um, there could be a number of different elements that tie them together, such as maybe they're a part of an organization, a part of a group, have some kind of commonality amongst them. And data mining helps you kind of pull that out. We hear a lot about big data nowadays, and we have companies such as Adobe collecting that information, providing companies such as myself actionable items that we can really deploy against and generate additional information. But the process is building customer profiles, if you will, and being able to predict behavior based on past behavior. And the concept is not new. The purpose of data coding and data mining is really to develop marketing communications aimed at a specific individual or a cluster. In addition, it'll help you build out your marketing programs that will also enhance your relationship with your customer and hopefully get them to continue to purchase from you and continue to feel valued from you. Now, the internet is a key piece of technology for data-driven marketing communication. A major reason for a database is the ability to communicate and interact with customers and prospects. Now, this process starts with developing identification codes and profile information for a customer. It can also be used for communication, for inbound telemarketing, or really any types of marketing that are associated with that. Um, the internet's ideal medium for customer communication, partly because it's low cost. It's 24/7, and metric analysis is available and will tell if the message is read, when it's read, what they did after. There's something that is maybe associated with drip marketing. So you send somebody a message, depending on what they do with that message, a following message is sent in an automated fashion. So say I purchased a list for $2,000 of 50,000 emails that have opted in to receive information about my hotels. Um, and I send them an email. 10% of them open it. I can tell because essentially these emails are sent out. There's a pixel in the email. You know those options to enable the pictures. When you enable a picture, it actually pings a message back to the server to pull that image because not all of those images are in the actual email themselves. And through that process, it counts as an open in our software. And if you are opening the email, you might get a follow-up email in 3 days saying, thanks for opening our email, check out this discount based on that sale. Or if you didn't, another email might be sent just to say, I saw you didn't open the email. Perhaps this interests you. And really, what I'm trying to illustrate by this um, discussion is the drip marketing component of it based on behavior. And this can be acquired through a number of different technologies. Now, database-driven marketing programs begin with assigning individuals with IDs and passwords. We're accustomed to doing that in our day-to-day actions nowadays, and it's not uncommon. But once that's created, then customized information can be presented to them based on their favorite purchases and things of that nature. Um, these profiles are important because it tells a company about the individual's preferences. It allows for an individual to receive customized messages. Companies like Bluefly.com can send out personalized messages letting customers know that some of the new fashions have arrived, and it's a cheap form of marketing. I think every time we sent out an email blast to 64,000 people in our database, we ended up generating anywhere between two to say $5,000 worth of revenue. You spread that over 12 months, and it quickly adds up. Now, a lot of those emails we gathered through trade shows as people stopped by our booth, they dropped off their card, and we continued to market to them, or they made purchases. But it's a great way to continue to interact with them. Um, there's different organizations that use database marketing for specific purposes, and we won't delve in too much of the details here. But there's three primary data-driven marketing programs that are focused on essentially achieving success: permission marketing, frequency programs, and customer relationship management. And we'll get into each one. Customers today are fed up with junk mail and spam mail, and permission marketing sends material to only individuals who give their permission. This is incredibly important. Um, we can't just scrape the internet for people's emails and then send them out emails because it just doesn't work. Companies need to make sure customers have given permission. Sometimes they do it in a tricky way where you're creating an account and you see that checkbox at the end that you don't even notice, and by that you end up uh, opening yourself up to these types of emails. Um, Sometimes when you place online orders, the box is automatically checked as we had talked about. But really, the important thing is that you're giving your permission. Periodically, companies give opt-out opportunities as well. The first step in building a permission marketing program is to obtain, like I said, the permission. This needs to be upfront and honest. The second step is to develop some type of curriculum or program. The third step is to offer incentives to continue that relationship. Now, the incentives should not end with just joining the program. At times, it can be discarded. You ever sign up for those email lists and never really get anything? There has to be a plan behind it, a content program that's continuing to provide value to the organization and also to the consumer. Um, and engagement is important, ensuring that there is mutual benefit that's taking place between the two parties. This graph shows reasons individuals opt in an email permission program because they want to win a sweepstakes, because they found the site randomly, their email is required to access content, they already know you, or a friend recommended it. When we look at a different way of analyzing the data, we can see that this graph shows reasons individuals remain in that program because they receive valuable information. They get updates on their account. There's continual sweepstakes that are presented, price bargains are presented, or the emails that they're getting are entertaining. Frequency or loyalty programs offer customers free merchandise or discounts for a series of purchases, and the goal is to reward um, those who purchase and those who continue to purchase. And it's no different from your customer loyalty programs. Marriott does it, Hyatt does it, so on and so forth. This graph shows the results of a survey of customers on the benefits that they receive from being in a loyalty program. Now, the number one reason to receive discounts and savings is the driving factor for this. The top five reasons all deal with some type of free merchandise, special deals, or savings. That's why people stay in it. That's why I stay in it. Companies have different reasons for utilizing frequency programs. Often it's to maintain sales, margins, or profits, but an obvious reason is to increase the loyalty of customers over time. For successful frequency programs, companies should keep in mind three basic principles. They should design programs to enhance the value of the product. They should calculate the cost of the program, including the free merchandise and any of the costs in administering the program, and design a program to maximize customer motivation to join and make additional purchases. Now, customer relationship programs are built on the premise of using data to really drive strategies. Many CRM programs fail, and that's because they don't use the information accordingly. And there can be a number of reasons for this. CRM programs are built on two tenets: lifetime value and share of customers. The share of customers really refers to the percent of purchases a customer makes with one firm compared to the total expenditure in that product category. The first step in being able to build a CRM program is to identify the customers who will be in the program. The second step is to use the database to differentiate customers in terms of needs and values using lifetime value figures and shares of customer figures. The step after that, or the third step, is to interact with each customer or customer segment with the goal of improving cost efficiencies and enhancing the effectiveness of that interaction. As we've talked about, we used to segment out our customer list by trade show, by geographic location, and to some extent by product type so that we can market to them more appropriately. Research has shown four primary reasons CRMs essentially fail. Programs were implemented before a solid customer strategy was created. Some of the programs rolled out before changing the organization to match the program, or the program didn't have enough technology to drive it. Customers felt like they were being stalked instead of being wooed and rewarded for being customers. Direct response marketing is the targeting of goods and services to customers without the use of other channels of distribution. And according to the Direct Marketing Association, about 60% of direct marketing is to prospect, to encourage a first purchase, and the other 40 is for customer retention and to encourage repeat purchases. Now, direct response marketing is used because essentially it works. Customers can respond to direct offers using the telephone, email, retail store, or a number of those different outlets. This graph shows the percentage of companies using a particular forms of direct marketing. Direct mail to customers and prospects was number one, used by about 77% and 73% of companies. Email to customers and prospects was the next most widely used. The most common form of direct response marketing is direct mail. That's the company I used to work for. Over 70% of the companies use some form of direct mail. The key to direct mail is the list that is used. A response list consists of individuals who have made purchases or who have responded to direct mail offers in the past. A hot list are individuals who have responded to a direct mail offer within the last 30 days. Catalogs offer long-term impact because they lay around for quite some time, and again the costs are quite high, but they do provide their return. Rather than large catalogs sent to masses, companies use databases to send catalogs to individuals most likely to use them. When we used to send out our catalogs, it used to cost about $1.50, give or take, per individual to send it out for the postage. And I'm not thinking that really took into consideration the production of it, but we really had to narrow it down. Out of our, say, 120,000 members in our database, we had to narrow it down to the most effective, say, 30 1,000 people if we were going to send it out. We always purchased new lists as well to supplement our database and gain new customers. But it was a process by which we can really make it more efficient as far as how to target the right customer base. Other direct response media are television, radio, magazine, and newspapers. Most of these media essentially is kind of a mass approach, more or less. The internet has become a valuable form of direct marketing. Its costs are effective, can be used to build relationships long term. Search engine ads can be purchased that will take individuals directly to the specific product. Now, in the customer sector, companies such as Mary Kay, Avon, and Mark use direct sales. And these salespeople are friends, relatives, coworkers. You've all probably been at a Tupperware party in one form or fashion in the past, and this is essentially the same type of approach. Telemarketing can be either inbound or outbound. With inbound, customers call the company to place an order. For most companies, it uses a call center to take this approach and really be able to leverage it. Outbound telemarketing is the most challenging. Most people don't want sales calls, and cold calling is not easy. It's difficult. That's one thing in my career I've been fortunate to avoid. However, it is necessary. Uh, if a database is used, then customers who are likely to respond can be contacted. Personal selling offers an opportunity to sell a product face to face, and it can be used to build relationships over time. A lot of B2B companies utilize this, but in the consumer market, it's used as well. And this is kind of the general process in personal selling. It starts by generating the leads. Usually the leads are given to you by your manager based on research done ahead of time. It's qualifying those leads. It's getting information. Then it's doing the sales presentation. It's handling any objections because typically they come up. It's closing it, and then it's follow up, if you will. Sometimes this is two-tiered where, maybe lower compensated individuals are taking care of the first 2 or 3 steps, and then higher compensated individuals, or really more experienced individuals, are taking care of the sales process, handling the objections, closing the sale. This is not uncommon in a B2B world. And when I say compensation, it really has nothing to do with their capabilities, but really more their place in the organization at that time, where you start off by pounding the phones and trying to get those individuals to acknowledge a meeting ahead of time, and then bringing in a sales leader to close the deal. Referrals are the best way to generate leads. It also allows the salesperson to bypass the gatekeeper and get right to the decision maker. Not all sales leads are good prospects. Many companies will hire other individuals to qualify them, as we've talked about. 2 dimensions are important when evaluating a sales lead: potential income and the probability of acquiring the prospect as a customer. Often sales leads are categorized into 3 or 4 groups based on these 2 dimensions. Those in the best group, the high potential income and profitability, companies receive a personal call. Leads in other groups can be handled through telemarketing, mailing out of marketing material, or strategies that are essentially less expensive. Sales calls are the most expensive because you're hiring somebody to talk to people, to engage them, which is in the long term obviously more costly. Now, the purpose of getting information is to learn as much as you can about the company or the people that you'll be meeting with. The information can be passed on to the salesperson, and they can integrate it into their presentation at a later time. Sales presentations can be grouped into really 4 types. And they can almost be canned and scripted to some degree with some flexibility in. It's used in telemarketing and sometimes with new salespeople. The need satisfaction approach strives to discover a customer's needs and then provides a solution for those needs. With the problem solution approach, employees from the selling organization spend time analyzing the organization's business to identify the problems being faced and really offer the best solutions. With the mission sharing, the two organizations work together for a common goal. This sales presentation is almost always involving people at the very top levels of both of those organizations. Um, Almost all sales calls will at some point create objections, and this is where your veteran salespeople can handle those objections. Most often, you can collect those objections over time, if you will, and just prepare candid responses for them and honest responses. Closing a sale is important. Many salespeople fear this part of the call because um, they're afraid the customer will say no. And there's a lot of approaches you can take. More often than not, we end up asking, what can we do to earn your business? If you're working for a good company, you believe in your product, then there's really no fear in asking for their business because you are confident that what you have to offer will bring value to the organization that you're working with. If it isn't, then it's understandable and you can move on. Regarding the international implications, database marketing personally faces a lot of challenges on the international level. Differences in technology can be a huge factor in building and using that data. Laws and regulations vary in terms of direct response marketing, and essentially it can become a little bit more complex. Local companies um, really have the best success in being able to sell in a more personal way. The infrastructure can be an issue with direct response marketing as well as personal selling long term. So it can be a challenging process, but it can still be implemented if done correctly.